RV travel has exploded in popularity in the last few years, and we are so excited that people are out here trying RV for the first time. But just like with anything for the first time, there's bound to be a learning curve, and RVing is no exception to that. Hi, my name is Katie. I'm here with RVshare. One of the coolest things about working at RVshare is that we partner with hundreds of campgrounds all across the country, and we worked with them to compile a list of what not to do while RV camping at a campground. So as always, if you like what you learned in this video, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel for more tips and tricks on RV camping. So tip number one is going to be mind your space. So unless you're traveling with a large group and have purchased multiple campsites right next to each other, you really have only purchased accommodation for one space, which means you really only get access to that one space. Now that sounds really basic, but we see this faux pas broken in mainly two ways. One is when people park their car in an empty space next to their campsite, and two, when they cut through other people's campsites to get to their end destination faster. These are big no-nos, and that's because for the first one, we really don't know when people are coming and going from their campsites, and if they arrive maybe a little bit later than normal check-in and you're parked in their campsite, well, you're blocking access to the campsite that they've paid for. The other thing is that that becomes a lot worse when you're not at your campsite, and really at that point, the campground does have a right to tow your vehicle, but nobody wants to do that, so just park in your own spot. These RV campsites are really built for two vehicles typically, for one for your RV and one for your other vehicle that you drive around. So you should have plenty of space. And as for crossing through campgrounds, that's really just common courtesy. The pool might be right there, but you still have to respect your neighbor's space and walk around that space. That is space that they have paid for, and it would not be polite, to have somebody walk through your campground. People are here to have fun and relax, and they don't want to have to worry about people being in their space. And sometimes these campsites can be pretty tight, so the space is small, and that is their space and they have a right to it. So make sure that you walk around and do not cut through campsites. Okay, our tip number two is about fire safety. Did you know that Smokey the Bear was created in 1944, which means by the time that I created this video, Smokey the Bear is 79 years old and still can't retire? Poor Smokey. Our campground managers have these recommendations for campers. And tip number one, make sure that you are aware of any burn notices that are in your area. You are not allowed to have fires if those are in effect, so make sure that you are aware. Tip number two is that you want to make sure that your fires are small and manageable, so no more than 3 feet. 3 feet's a little bit on the high side, so preferably keep that a little bit smaller. Tip number three, only create fires in the designated fire pit that has been supplied to your campground. Tip number four, never burn your trash. Tip number five, make sure that you have a bucket of water next to your fire at all times in case you need to douse your fire out. Now, I don't say this next thing to scare you, but it is important to remember that RVs themselves typically have a lot of accelerants on board. So that means propane tanks, that means generators with gasoline, and it's important just to make sure that you know that sometimes a bad situation can become much worse when there's an RV involved. So you have to be really responsible with fire safety here. Tip number three, you're going to want to be mindful of your noise levels. Now, most, if not all, campgrounds are going to have some sort of designated quiet hours that you should abide by. You can find what those hours are typically when you get the information packet when you arrive, and you definitely want to abide by those rules. You do not want to become those neighbors that are the noisy neighbors. But did you know that you should also be mindful of your sound at all times? Now, we're not saying that you need to be quiet like a library, but you need to know that your location is going to impact sound waves. So if you are in a canyon, your sound is going to echo off of those canyon walls, or if you're near water, your sound is going to travel further because the temperature above the water is cooler, making those sound waves travel further. That's right, science. And you never know who's napping or trying to work, so really being cognizant of your sound and your noise levels at all times is really just good common courtesy to your neighbors. Okay, tip number four, pack it in, pack it out. So pack it in and pack it out and leave no trace are two cardinal rules of camping that are also going to be applied to RV camping. And this is especially true if you're at an RV resort because they are going to have trash facilities there. And so it's going to be very easy to dispose of your trash. Not only is it just bad for the environment and gross to leave your trash there, it's actually kind of a hazard because you could be bringing in unwanted wildlife. So it's really important to make sure that you leave your campsite as you found it, if not better. And just remember that we're all really stewards of the space that we occupy, and you should be making it a good one for the next camper and making sure that you're not passing on some undue burden onto other people. Tip number 5, know when to roll in your awnings. Awnings are a fantastic RV feature. They allow you to have a little bit of outdoor living space while keeping you protected from the sun. But it's really important to always remember to roll in your awning anytime that you leave your campsite, because awnings do not do well in wind. Awning will actually act like a kite and potentially be ripped off the RV. One campground owner said on average every summer he sees about 20 to 30 RV awnings ripped off and just blowing down the campsite. So make sure that you protect yourself, protect your vehicle, and roll in that awning. The other thing to know is that awnings do not do great in rain. If you have a metal awning, they can build up rust, or if you have a fabric awning, it can pool the water. So you want to make sure that if it starts to sprinkle, if it starts to rain, to also roll up those awnings. Tip number 6, and our final tip today, is to make sure that you abide by traffic rules inside the campground. Speed limits and one-ways were really put into place to protect people that are there camping. Kids are everywhere on campgrounds and running around and having fun, and that's what we want them to do. So we want to make sure that they're safe, so make sure that you go slow throughout the campground. Everybody is there to relax and have fun and have a good time. There's absolutely zero reason to rush around or break the traffic rules. So make sure that you pay attention to those speed limits when you're in the campground. So that is it. Those are our top tips of what not to do in RV campgrounds for first-time RV renters, according to our campground owners. So make sure that you follow those rules and you'll be having fun in no time. As always, remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And if you think that we missed anything, make sure you let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear what you guys think is really important for first-time RV renters to know. All right, until next time, my name is Katie with RVshare. Have a good one.